Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. It's always a joy to read a little bit of Robert B. Stone and to have permission to read some of these amazing works. And so today we're going to read an amazing chapter from Robert B. Stone called Ways to Magnify Your Magic. If you haven't heard of Robert B. Stone, I'm so excited for you. You can definitely check out my playlist on Robert B. Stone, where we have discussed many of his books. Robert B. Stone was an internationally known author, teacher, expert in achievement of the human potential. He was the author and co-author of over 80 published books, most notably on self-help and powers of the mind, with sales in the millions. He lectured worldwide on human potential and was an instructor at the University of Hawaii on activating the powers of mind. A Mensa member, he had a degree from MIT and was elected to the New York Academy of Science. He introduced the Silva method in Japan and was a Silva method lecturer for 20 years. I always learn a little bit from every one of these chapters, and he always has really dynamic and interesting exercises that really make you think. This comes from his book, Life Without Limits, 10 Easy Steps to Success and Happiness. Ways to Magnify Your Magic, summarized by Dr. Robert B. Stone. This chapter is going to hit you like a ton of bricks. I'm pulling out all the stops and telling it like it is. Aren't cliches wonderful? It's like they have a master key to your mind. There had to be some sort of pussyfooting in order to take you gently into the non-material realm, calling it by that name, and calling it the spiritual realm on bolder moments. If you've been daydreaming in accordance with the instructions to better your life, you have been introduced to this spiritual realm in a gentle way. But to help you enjoy the better life you fully deserve, I must now sock it to you. For starters, say hello to God. I've not used that word because of the resistance to it on the part of many people. Since God is the creator, we have used creator to get around that negativity. However, the creator undoubtedly has no objection to being called God. I have no objection to the creator being called God. Let's make it unanimous. By accepting God, you enhance your connection to the creator. If one of your names, first or middle or last, was poison to people, would it not act at least as a partial separation between you and them? God, Creator, God. We love our Father by whatever name and for whatever time given us on this planet. How to make the most of your time on this planet. Humankind is not a permanent tenant on this planet. In fact, we just got here. If you were to use a single year to represent the history of the Earth, then January 1st would be the day it was created, and December 31st would be today. Let's look at some of the historical milestones along the way. The first simple bacteria arrived sometime in February, and the first fish arrived late November. The first dinosaurs arrived around December 10th, and by December 25th, they were gone. The first recognizable human arrived December 31st, and humans as we know them today came 15 minutes ago, December 31st at 11:45 p.m. So don't think we have any priority rights. We are Johnny-come-latelys to this planetary hotel. We have to straighten up and fly right to merit a more permanent status. Most of us are using only the left side of our brain to function on planet Earth. The Creator gave us a right side too. Using only one side has caused us a lot of problems. We have lived a material life to the exclusion of a spiritual life. Some of us make an exception for a few hours on Sunday, but what happens in a house of worship is usually left there. Without spiritual guidance, those who choose to be without it are filling the battlefields, the drug cults, the prisons, the welfare rolls, and the hospitals. There are those who have activated their right brains and choose a more joyous and productive existence. An example of such a person is you. As a result, you are making the most of your time on this planet. You are embarking on a fairy tale existence. protected by guardian angels, assisted by unseen powers, and blessed by the Creator. The way life is on Earth. While daydreaming about the contents of this final chapter, these words came to me from where or whom I know not, but I quickly wrote them down. We did not take God for granted. Every time a fire was lit, we thanked God with prayer and ritual. We did so when we arose in the morning and retired at night. We had no separation of the divine and nature. God was both creator and friend. Man, nature, and God are one and interdependent. Thank you, whoever you are, timely and to the point. Life on Earth might be a degree better if we still followed such rituals in recognition of the Creator and friend behind it all. A parliament of world religions attended by some 8,000 delegates took place in Chicago in 1993. It lasted for a week, at the end of which time they identified the contributing factors to the present deplorable state of affairs in the world. These included unemployment suffered by hundreds of millions, leading to poverty, hunger, and the destruction of the family. Organized crime fueled by the abuse of drugs, tensions between generations, sexes, races, and religions, corruption in business and politics, the suffering of the ecosystem now risking imminent collapse. It was agreed in this parliament that a new global ethic was urgently needed. This would require the following changes in people. Every human being must be treated humanely. Equal rights must be honored. There needs to be a heightened commitment to a culture of tolerance and truthfulness. A just economic order is essential. For these improvements to happen, each individual must undergo a transformation of consciousness. This final need was issued with an emphasis that amounted to a clarion call, but not one word was spoken of how to raise one's consciousness. The book you have in your hands speaks that word. It does so for you, not for your community, not for your country, not for the world. You begin to enjoy the fruits of a global ethic in your private world. As your example is caught by others, wider influence is manifested, and ultimately, the Parliament's vision could be attained. How one mind can help more than one. Why this body of thousands of spiritual leaders did not at least light the fuse to individual enlightenment and the individual elevation of consciousness is hard to fathom. Are our spiritual leaders too egocentric to understand that a person can exercise self-help successfully without them? Are they afraid they will be put out of business? By now you know better than to think you can do nothing. You are probably hoping I will prod you into taking a step to make this a better world to live in right now. You're right. Here is how. A 1-minute exercise to better the world. 1. Sit in a comfortable chair. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. And select some area of the world where there is an armed conflict going on. 2. Imagine you are at a high elevation overlooking the area. Imagine spreading a blanket of love, like a luminescent mist, over the whole area. 3. Mentally say peace, peace, peace. 4. Open your eyes wide awake. This has taken you 1 minute, yet it has cut the endurance time of that conflict by a lot more than that. Know that your energy of consciousness is connected to the energy of consciousness of other people, including the combatants, but most importantly, to that of the Creator. Furthermore, you're not alone in doing this. Here are some of the other mental pictures to use. See an area of starving people, maybe in Africa. Imagine food being harvested. People are eating. Children are being fed. The granaries and storehouses are well stocked. Mentally say health, health, health. See an area of crime, perhaps in a big city slum. It is dark and dangerous. Let the light in mentally. Imagine it enlightened and safe. Mentally repeat love, love, love. See an area of poverty, perhaps in Russia or Mexico. See a shower of wealth descend. Use the picture of Benjamin Franklin on a $100 bill to symbolize nature's abundance. Mentally repeat plenty, plenty, plenty. Thank you for not just reading these ideas for helping humanity, but for using your consciousness to help manifest these solutions. Where consciousness goes, a real energy goes. Energy is creative. It creates what is programmed to create. Your mind is the computer that programs your consciousness. The input data are your mental pictures. A number of scientists met in Monte Carlo about 20 years ago to share their research in this ability of the mind to create at a distance. They decided to name this phenomenon and its study psychotronics. I received the first doctorate in psychotronics awarded by a California university that was authorized by the state of California to grant degrees in consciousness. Your psychotronic energy is related to your life energy. Without the latter, you would not have the former. You can feel your psychotronic energy, if you would like, with this simple demonstration. Exercise to feel your psychotronic energy. 1. Hold your left hand, palm facing right. 2. Point the fingers of your right hand at the palm of your left hand, keeping them 6 to 12 inches apart. 3. Slowly move your right hand up and down, as if fanning the air, but do it too slow to cause the air movement. 4. As you do this, you'll feel a tingling feeling going up and down your left palm. It is caused by psychotronic energy. Whenever demonstrating this to a seminar audience, there's usually a 90% affirmative response. Some people might have palms hardened and desensitized by years of physical work. I then have the audience hold their palms up to the stage as I move my fingers up and down. How many felt me? Again, the question gets an overwhelmingly positive response, but that's kindergarten stuff. Now comes the clincher. I need a volunteer. When the volunteer arrives, he or she is asked to hold both hands up, palms facing me. I'm not going to point my fingers at you, the audience this time, only at the volunteer. But, audience, hold both palms up anyhow and see if you can feel anything. I peer steadily at the volunteer and move my fingers up and down. Of course, I get a big smile and an empathic nod of the head from the volunteer. Then I turn to the audience. Who felt my energy? Perhaps 100 hands go up out of 300 present. How could you feel me? I was aiming my energy at this volunteer. Deep silence. The answer is I was visualizing you as I was moving my fingers. I was mentally seeing you, the audience. Energy goes where consciousness goes. As far as you, the reader, are concerned, your energy of consciousness should be devoted to creative purposes. But since expectation and belief are critical factors in such work being successful, here are a couple of fun uses. Stand at the back of an elevator, and when a person enters and faces the elevator door, stare at the back of his or her neck. Be sure to simultaneously mentally picture what you're doing. In a few floors, that person will either scratch their neck or turn around. Or next time you're in a restaurant and need to summon your busy waiter or waitress, again stare at the back of their neck, visualizing as you do it. When I'm on the beach in Hawaii under my favorite palm tree, I enjoy watching the bikini-clad ladies go by. As I stare at their receding forms, they inevitably reach back and adjust their suits. Several years ago, a national U.S. newspaper urged its readers to visualize a defect occurring in Big Ben, the huge London clock, on the very day and at the very time the clock malfunctioned. Psychotronic energy is spiritual and therefore it is sacred. Let your uses of it be spiritual and sacred to you, reinforcing your connection to the other side. You have not been handed your connection to the Creator and the army of positive energies on the other side by me. You've always had it. You were born with it. You will have it when you leave this temporary residence we call Earth. So there is nothing on Earth, certainly nothing in the Western world, that gives us a clue that we have such a connection or how to make use of it. We don't learn it in school. We don't hear it taught at the university level. We don't hear it in houses of worship. It is only hinted at. So it behooves you to remind yourself constantly that you have an invisible means of support, that you are a unique human and loved by the Creator. With such daily reminders, you remember that you are the best and that you deserve the best, that divine money-making ideas come to you for the right brain asking, ideas that place you on the leading edge of life, that you trust in the infinite wisdom of the Creator, with which nothing is impossible. You can do this by considering this last paragraph as a daily reading exercise or a daily trigger for the ideas contained therein. Or you can do this by using self-created affirmations daily, like the following. Every time I close my eyes and take 3 deep breaths, as I have done, I go to a deeper level of relaxation faster. I get ideas. I solve problems. Higher intelligence assists my intelligence with answers and solutions, and this is so. If you have programming to do that day, a good time to do it is right after making the above affirmation. After you have made the affirmation and completed your programming, it is effective to end with this. I know my intelligence is a manifestation of higher intelligence. I believe in its creative power. I am making progress whether I see it or not. I expect positive results. What these affirmations are really saying is I am not a creature of circumstance. I am a creator of circumstances. It is also saying I let go and let God. You will find it hard to talk to anybody about the unbelievable grace of the Creator that manifests to you daily. Coincidence is the way many will shrug away a minor miracle. While you may be explaining how a coincidence is an act of the Creator to which He has not signed His name, the person will probably have changed the subject to politics, local gossip, or the weather. There are no words to describe help from the other side. By talking to others about it, you dissipate your energy. You change what happened to fit the words. You accomplish nothing, even though your missionary-like motives may be the best. There are 3 requirements to continue a flow of assistance from the other side. 1. Use your mind to make this a better world to live in day by day. 2. Refrain from discussing the details of these private matters with anybody, even your family, but while still encouraging them to do the same. 3. Reaffirm your connection daily with prayer, affirmation, and love. Time is different on the other side, if it exists at all. I received a phone call one morning from a distraught lady. I've been robbed of jewelry, she sobbed. It has happened twice now. 5 of my valuable rings and 2 gold necklaces were stolen from my bedroom. What can I do? Have you reported this to the police? I asked, hoping not to be called on to solve such a problem. It has happened twice. Each time the police took my report, but did nothing. I don't want it to happen a 3rd time. When was it the first time? I asked. Exactly a week ago last night, she sobbed. Do you mind holding the wire? I will be just a few minutes. How long does it take to sit in a comfortable chair, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and play a 1-minute movie? Visualizing a calendar and seeing the date 1 week ago, then asking to see the crime being committed. I saw a figure in the semi-light of dusk crawling through the bedroom window. It was a young girl wearing a visor cap. Back on the phone I said, it was a young girl wearing a visor cap. Oh my God, replied the lady, it's my daughter. Later the daughter confessed that she had been stealing the jewelry and giving it to her boyfriend. This is a commonplace ability once you have trained your mind by activating your right brain hemisphere as you have been doing. But don't attempt it yet. It takes practice, practice, practice. Then your mind can transcend both time and space. The Creator and you, an unbeatable team. There are only 26 letters in the English alphabet. yet they produced this entire book and a million others. There are only 10 digits, 0 to 9, yet these 10 digits enable all calculations to be made, from arithmetic to calculus, and all statistics to be recorded since the beginning of recorded time. There are only 12 notes in the musical scale, yet every nursery rhyme can be sung with them, and every symphony composed, plus all the popular hit parade tunes in between. What you can do with these 26 letters, 10 digits, and 12 musical notes defies description. Is there any doubt that you and the Creator are an unbeatable team? You have elected to be on the Creator's team by your work with this book. Hundreds of millions have not. They are on another team that is elected to play the game without the Creator. Let's take a look at the game they play. Teenage sexual promiscuity and pregnancy rates boggle the mind. Dangerous drugs can be bought on more city streets than are free of them. Our heritage has been traded for quick fixes and instant gratification. We are spending money via government programs that are not only aggressive and invasive, but have as many leaks into private pockets as a sieve, and are as ineffective as if they did not exist. It wasn't always this way. "In God We Trust" used to be the country's theme. With such trust, it was a different team. God was on it. Our founding fathers had an absolute faith in God and the team. Yankee ingenuity fueled by higher intelligence solved insolvable problems. Hard work, self-sacrifice, and personal integrity brought everybody the prizes they were seeking: freedom, health, prosperity. Then dreams came true. Your dreams are coming true. Putting God on your team was a risk, but you took it. It's a win-win situation. Both God and you are the winners. Benefits are now attainable by you. If your goals are humane, you will reach them. There is no greater power in the universe that could be working for you. You stay on the same team with God by fanning the flames of oneness, feeling it more and more every day. Look at what God can do. Rocks millennia ago were able to become cells, living creatures. Rocks that eventually became humans ultimately went to the moon. If this can be done, your goals are a cinch. Good health, done. Money in the bank, done. Happy family, done. Successful business, done. Peace of mind, done. What about such things as winning an election, becoming a golf expert, typing with speed? Done, done, done. Your life is about to turn the corner. I'm constantly in awe of what God can do. I've seen an insurance man go from barely eking out a living to award-winning levels of financial success. A widow of 50 plus who had given up the idea of a loving companion is swept off her feet. A teenager goes from street smart to entrepreneur smart. I myself would not be writing this book had I not gone from a teenager too shy and bumbling for words to an accomplished author and internationally recognized lecturer and counselor. These are not egotistical words of praise for myself, but rather humble words of praise for the captain of my team. How scientists are slowly bending in God's direction. Basic concepts or paradigms held by scientists for centuries are changing. Old Newtonian beliefs are going down the drain in favor of new Einsteinian beliefs. Let's look at a few of these changes. Newton: the world is matter and is made up of particles. Einstein: the world is made up of energy fields that can crystallize as matter. Newton: the human mind is centered in the brain with its intelligence spreading to other parts of the body. Einstein: the human mind is part of a universal intelligence that fills the cosmos. Newton: our bodies are separate. Einstein: our body is part of a universal body. Newton: the laws of nature cannot be changed. Einstein: the human mind can transform the laws of nature because humans are its co-creators. Newton: we are human beings trying to be spiritual. Einstein: we are spiritual beings trying to be human. We applaud this progress by scientists. Eventually, they will get there, but we are not going to stand by and wait for them. You have made a quantum leap ahead of scientists. You have liberated your mind from the prison of the material world. You have reconnected yourself to your Creator after years of separation. It was you who moved away in the first place. Now, you have moved back. You have enlisted the help of the Creator directly or through angels, fairies, elves, or other people. Because your consciousness has been liberated, expect genius-like insights. The term genius derives from genie. A genie, like angels and fairies, works for the Creator. The genie manifests what the Creator mandates. These could be everyday events, such as bringing you together with the right person or a miraculous favor, like making you the winner of a sweepstakes or lottery. You are a genius. And what you will have experienced is a scientific event, just as sure as water can freeze into ice, and ice can melt back into water. All you have to do is behave like a genius, and the world is yours. How does a genius behave? He or she acknowledges a problem, sizes it up, meditates on it, and acts on the insight received. Meditation is now familiar activity to you. Remember, sit in a comfortable chair, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and visualize. By now, you should have done this chapter by chapter some 50 times. It is now one of the secrets to your charmed life. It is better than dialing 911. It is better than having a foot pedal under the table to summon a servant. It is better than having a relative who works in a bank. Closing your eyes, taking 3 deep breaths, and visualizing positively produces genius-like insights. Perhaps you'll say to yourself, wow, look at what I thought of. Go ahead. The Creator does not have an ego, and so does not mind you taking credit for what the Creator presented to you. Sometimes a solution involves other people and time. If so, that idea or genius-like insight won't be there when you meditate. Don't make the mistake of thinking that the Creator has failed you. Know that the wheels are turning. Here's what you can do meanwhile. Exercise to work on the solution to a situation. 1. Relax in a comfortable chair with a glass of water beside you. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and visualize the problem or unwanted condition. 2. Take a drink from the glass. A few sips will do. 3. Put your fingers together. 4. Mentally say, every time I drink water, the solution to this situation gets closer and closer. 5. Mentally see yourself drinking water and mentally see the problem corrected. 6. Open your eyes wide awake. The unconscious exposed for what it really is. As a genius, it behooves you to know more about your mind. You are quite familiar with the conscious mind. You're using it to read with, to move your body with, and to visualize with. But how about all the activities of your mind that you're not conscious of? Running your body, night dreaming, creating solutions? These other activities are usually associated with the unconscious mind, but that is an umbrella term. Actually, the unconscious is 2 separate areas, the subconscious and the superconscious. The subconscious stores your memories and runs the so-called automatic functions of the body. The superconscious, sometimes called the supraconscious, is your higher self, your connection to a common intelligence shared by all people and filling all space. The hand illustrates these 3 aspects to consciousness quite well. Look at your hand and imagine you are one of the fingers, and I am another one of the fingers. The nail on the finger you have chosen to be you is separate. The nail is like the subconscious. It is yours alone. It is private and separate. The main part of the finger is your conscious mind. It too is separate. Your thoughts are yours alone. Your finger is connected to your hand, which is your superconscious. Hey, you're not separate there. You are connected with me and all others, and via your body with an entire body of intelligence. Whatever you call it, it is where your genius is located. It is where ideas come from. It is what you contact when you close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Frederick W.H. Myers, a contemporary Cambridge scholar, saw the unconscious as we see the superconscious, a source of intuition, creativity, and inspiration, but also as a subconscious collection of dusty memories. We are now getting it sorted out, and the more distinctly we sort it out, the clearer the image of the influence of the Creator emerges. As one's consciousness expands, and you might say heightens, one's awareness of a higher intelligence also heightens. One actually begins to feel the oneness of the universe. The oneness of the universe has you at its center. I am at the center of the universe, and so are you. Wherever consciousness is active, that becomes the source of creation. Every unit of consciousness that I have needed to create this manual has arrived in the nick of time, so it now will be with you. As the originator of this final chapter with no seer identifying him or herself, I know that I have been helped all my life, as I am being helped now by one Joshua ben Joseph, whom we know as Jesus. His teachings have come to us through numerous channels, but what has not been taught to us from the pulpits of the world are his words quoted in various parts of the New Testament and in various ways adding up to, go to the kingdom of heaven within, function within God's righteousness, and all things will be done to you. This means to me, relax and visualize. See problems being solved and illnesses being healed, and all that you visualize will manifest. To me, Jesus stands on his own as the most remarkable luminary of all time. Lofu, Koneta, and Panopolis were there when the work was started. Then along came Takapusha, Kwajargan, and Haktudu. Daydreaming for unlimited love was reinforced by Iriana, and then Bessie and Swami Amara arrived for the last chapters. Jesus, as stated above, has been here throughout the whole process. These units of consciousness were augmented by unseen powers who delivered into my hands at the right moment technical newsletters, pertinent newspaper articles, professional magazines, television and radio reports and events in my own life. In fact, at this very moment, when this book is about to wind down to its final page, I ask for a powerful conclusion that would lift and vault the reader to new heights of desire, expectation, and belief. Just then a letter arrived from a friend in London, England, who is a Unity writer, and it was this amazing passage. Read it slowly, pausing after each sentence and realizing that you are making statements of fact that ring loud and clear in the universal halls of eternity, helping you, helping humanity, and helping yours truly. I value myself for being a growing, unfolding individual. I embrace myself for being worthy of life, love, joy, peace, and well-being. I honor myself for being created in the image and likeness of the Creator. I praise myself for being capable of learning, of enjoying life here and now. I recognize myself as being innately greater than any disabling thought or feeling of inadequacy or fear. I respect myself for being who I am in reality and for endeavoring step by step to express that reality. I love myself as the precious creation of a loving Creator. I see myself as possessing qualities of patience, compassion, tenderness, and beauty. I make a commitment to myself by holding a vision of myself as a precious and beloved child of the Creator. Yes, I'm a beloved child of the Creator. I accept this reality now as I commit myself anew to believing in myself. Thank you, Father. And this concludes Ways to Magnify Your Magic by Robert B. Stone. It's always so fun to read Robert's writings. He always has these amazingly simple and powerful exercises. And really, that is the one thing I want you to get from this, is that it only takes 1 minute. You can sit down and close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. That's all. That's all he ever recommended. You can certainly go longer, but if you sit and close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths to collect yourself, you can gain the most amazing insight when you command your subconscious mind. It's not 8 hours. You don't have to sit for 8 hours meditating. You don't have to sit for 2 hours. You can sit for 1 minute if you want to. And for many of us, that's all the time we got. But if you try it, it works. You can gain insight and do amazing things. He covers psychotronic power. I recommend that you check out the episode on the magic of psychotronic power. He has an entire book on using psychotronic power, which is really amazing, especially considering the shift that we're undergoing in terms of fourth density light, more and more, I think manipulating these sort of energies will become more and more powerful and essential in our awakening process. And I would love to cover the very beginning of this, where he says that he had not talked about God in the entire book until the very end. And I find this all the time. I see some really great teachers on YouTube and books that I read that are so afraid to say the word God. And I get it, because if you listen to the first episodes of this podcast, so was I. I understand. It's triggering. I guarantee you there are people that come into the comments that are bothered by that word, that do not like to hear that. It goes all the way to their childhood, when those words were used against them to make them feel guilty, to make them feel sad, to distort their reality, so we can say the Creator or the universe. We can use whatever words that we want. They are just words. There is an overriding infinite intelligence that has consciousness, that is eternal and infinite, that created this galaxy, that created all the things that are around you and cannot be separated from you. And you are an individuated portion of this incredible infinite intelligence. You are an individual portion of this Creator, and that is how you magnify your magic, by tuning into this power, because it is the only power. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.